A significant upturn on Tottenham's roller coaster, but a desperate night that plumbs new depths for Southampton. And they've won here by 5-0.
Hot Spurs, they are back 5-0 drubbing there. It was the win earlier this morning, our time. Let's go to, well, friend of show. His name's Chris Cowlin. It's got his own podcast, the Spurs Chat podcast. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Rowie, Scott, good evening to you. Very well, very well, very well.
Well, you've got a smile on your face. Can you tell all your snoozers back there to get off Ange's back?
Absolutely. As you know, I'm a big fan of Ange, still am. Heavily back Ange Postecoglou, love the bloke. And I'm just hoping that he is truly successful at Tottenham. I'm very grateful for what he's done at the football club so far, and I think that a lot of people need to open their eyes in what a job that he has done so far at the football club, and it will continue, and I hope it does continue, and I hope he does get the patience and the time, from the board, from the fans themselves, because let's face it, at the moment, the fans are criticising the board, they're criticising the manager, they're criticising some of the players, they're criticising and arguing amongst themselves as well. But I think you've got to see the bigger picture. I think Ange Postecoglou himself sees the bigger picture at the football club. I see myself as a sensible fan and a realistic fan, and I see that he is progressing the football club week by week, month by month. He's had a lot of injury problems, and it was expected that Spurs go to Southampton and win the game. But we do have 10 senior players out, and I think how he managed the game, and he's quite often criticised for in-game management. I think he managed the game extremely well, and it was a delight to see that we'd put the game to bed inside 14 minutes when we were 3-0 up. The fans got behind Ange, they were singing his name. A couple of weeks ago, Ange Postecoglou was being abused by some of the Tottenham Hotspur fans at Bournemouth. So it just goes to show how football can turn around within 7 to 10 days. Yeah,
I think that draw with the Rangers in the Europa got a few of the natives restless, didn't it? But, this is a great comeback. Ange ball, is it working?
Is it working? I think it's work in progress. As I said, I hate to use excuses, but Ange has got 10 senior players out. Yes. He's had a really, really hard time of it. And it's not just been this season, it was last season as well. I would say in defence of Ange, completely defence of Ange, that, he's never had a fully fit squad. Yes, every Premier League team has injuries, but he has been really, really unlucky. I do believe that Ange Postecoglou needs the time and certainly needs the tools. We've got the January transfer window coming up. He could certainly do with a few players, and he could certainly do with a couple of superstar experienced players in the summer as well. So it's about time, it's about patience, but I'm enjoying the ride.
Well, it doesn't get any easier, Chris, because he's got Man United on Friday, and then he follows up with top of the table Liverpool on Monday. So it's not going to get any easier for him.
It's a huge week. It really is a huge week. But games are coming thick and fast in all competitions. And, one thing that Spurs fans absolutely love, and that is a cup competition. And we've got this huge game, as you just said, on Thursday against Manchester United. It is at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The fans need to get behind the team. They need to get behind Ange Postecoglou as well. Hopefully it's going to be a great night. Hopefully we'll go through to the semi-finals. And also what you've said there, Liverpool are flying at the top of the Premier League. So it's a huge week. Both games are at home. We've got a chance. Hopefully, we can get a player or two back as well. But it's great to see, last night, a number of players taking their opportunities. And it's perhaps a chance for some of these players to get opportunities with other players out injured. But as I mentioned, Ange, his in-game management last night, and in some of the past games, I think has been great.
Well, I had a look at a bit of the numbers, Chris, because I like dissecting that. Rowie will attest to that. They're scoring 36 goals, and they've only allowed 19 through. So if you look at that deficit, that puts you in second overall. If you just looked at that number, why can't they win? What's been the issue?
What's been the issue is we've had so many injury problems. That is the problem. And Ange has not had a fully fit squad to choose from at all. As far as the football that he plays, he is receiving some criticism with the type of football that he plays. But then again, when you look into Ange Postecoglou's career, you guys will know it much better than I would. He's been criticised everywhere he's gone, but he's proved the doubters wrong. And I'm hoping that he's going to do that at Spurs as well. But Defensively, we could have done so much better. In midfield, we could have done so much better this year. And I think it's very fair to say as well that since Ange has come in, he's implemented this style at the football club that people have really enjoyed. And when it clicks, and people absolutely love it and are highly entertained. But we have been very wasteful in that final third. Ange was criticising Timo Werner the other night for not giving absolutely everything. We've missed so many chances. But as you mentioned there, the goal difference is incredible, but it should be so much better.
Did Ange give Timo Werner both barrels or cold baked beans out the can, did he?
Do you know what? He backed him yesterday, put him on a sub. So, he's given players chances. Yeah. I don't think he's got a lot of players to choose from at the moment, but these players, it is about taking the opportunity when it's there. He's a senior player, so he should be given a lot more. And I do like Ange in that way of saying to these guys, come on, take your opportunity. He's a senior player, German international, so he should be doing a lot more, should be given a lot more.
Yeah. Transfer window, that's in Jan. Has he got his eye on anyone? What do they need, do you think, Chris?
We need strengthening in all departments, to be honest. We've got our reserve goalkeeper playing at the moment who's done extremely well. We need backups in defence as well. We probably need another creative midfielder. And we certainly need someone else to be playing up front as well because... the likes of Richarlison have had so many injury problems in the last couple of years, which has been really, really frustrating for the fans and Ange himself. So we need strengthening in all departments. I'm just hoping that he does get the backing that he does need. And as I say, get the patience from the fans as well. It was lovely. It was lovely yesterday, actually, because there were a number of moments where they were singing Ange's name, and there has been a lot of criticism of the manager in recent weeks. So it was really nice to see the fans fully get behind him last night.
Well, and it changes quickly, doesn't it, Chris? I mean, the Southampton coach got sacked after it, so he's now looking for a job. But how quick can it change? I mean, does the next 2 weeks, does that put extra pressure on if they don't get the next 2 games done? Does that then relight the fire again?
I think it does to a certain extent with some of the fan base. I think that the fan base is really, really mixed at the moment. I feel like half of us are being realistic in, what the aims and the ambitions are this season. I think that if Ange was to put a trophy in the cabinet for Tottenham, because it's been nearly 17 years since our last trophy, so if Ange could somehow guide Spurs to a trophy, that would be, absolutely brilliant. But football, game by game, there's such huge pressure on these guys, as you mentioned there. Russell Martin getting the sack straight after the game. So, there's a lot of pressure on managers, but I think that you need to see the bigger picture overall. And I think that people need to realise as well what a mess Spurs were when Ange Postecoglou walked through the door. Mm-hmm. Yes, we might be 10th in the Premier League at the moment, but we're only 5 points away from the top 4. And I think there's a lot of realism that is needed sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, you'll smoke Man United. They can't draw you a football at the moment. All the best and thanks for your time.
Thank you so much. Love talking to you guys. Thank you.
Great work. Chris Cowlin there. We call him the Spurs superfan, Spurs Chat podcast. If you're a Spurs fan, listen, they're very, very good. They're that passionate. They hold no prisoners.
It's nice that you hear he considers himself a balanced supporter.
Yeah.
You don't often hear that.
No.
There's not many balanced supporters when you're losing.